In July 1988, 167 men died on the Piper Alpha oil platform, not because of a single freak accident, but through a sequence of reasonable decisions. Anchored in 475 feet of water, the structure reached a total height of 230 meters. To visualize the scale, imagine placing a 70-story skyscraper on the seafloor. This isn't simply the story of an explosion. It's the story of a socio-technical system failure, where isolated logical decisions destroyed what many believed was an indestructible city at sea. Originally, Piper Alpha was built to produce oil, but in 1978, it was extensively modified to process natural gas. That retrofit placed high-risk processing modules much closer to the control room and the crew's living quarters. By the 6th of July, 1988, the platform was operating while maintenance was underway. At 9:45 p.m., condensate pump B automatically shut down. To avoid a complete production shutdown, the crew prepared to restart pump A. They didn't know that its pressure safety valve had already been removed. The opening had been sealed only by a temporary blind flange, hand-tightened by an engineer who intended to return the following morning to finish the job. The permit for the pump and the permit for its removed safety valve were stored in different equipment boxes. When the shift manager checked the paperwork, there appeared to be no active maintenance preventing pump A from being used. At 9:55 p.m., pump A was restarted. High-pressure condensate gas struck the temporary blind flange at approximately 78 atmospheres of pressure. Moments later, a blue flash, the forensic signature of burning condensate, tore through firewalls that had been designed to resist fire, but not explosions. The disaster became an unstoppable inferno because of one final, seemingly reasonable decision. On the lower decks, divers had placed rubber mats over steel floor gratings to protect their feet from sharp metal edges. It happens that a crude oil tank ruptured during this event, and the escaping oil collected on those mats, instead of draining harmlessly into the sea. The resulting pool fire burned directly beneath high-pressure gas risers. At 10:20 p.m., one of those risers failed, releasing around 30 tons of gas every second. Some survivors, including Mark Reed, escaped only by jumping 175 feet into the sea, while many others remained trapped inside the accommodation block. By 2350, the structural integrity of the rig finally gave way. The steel, melted by temperatures exceeding 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, began to crumble into the ocean. The final tragedy occurred when the living quarters, Module D, slipped off the platform and vanished beneath the waves. Inside were nearly 100 men who had been waiting for an evacuation signal that was never sent. The control room had been destroyed in the very first minutes of the blast. For those who made it into the water, the ordeal was hauntingly personal. Mark Reed says he jumped 175 feet from the helideck, thinking only of his 14-week-old son as he fell toward the freezing North Sea. Jim McDonald had to navigate through smoke so thick he became completely disoriented. He accidentally walked into a crew cabin instead of the laundry room before finally finding a path to the edge. Others, like Billy Clayton, described waking up in the water surrounded by an orange blur of fire, realizing the person they were clinging to for help was already dead. The aftermath of the disaster triggered the Lord Cullen Inquiry, a landmark public investigation that lasted 2 years. When the final report was presented to Parliament in 1990, it offered 106 recommendations for North Sea oil operations, every single one of which was accepted by the industry. The most profound change was a fundamental shift in regulatory oversight. The inquiry revealed that the UK Department of Energy had been operating with a deep-seated conflict of interest, tasked with managing both production and safety simultaneously. As a direct result, responsibility for offshore safety was transferred to the Health and Safety Executive, HSE, an independent body solely concerned with protection rather than profit. This transition led to the Offshore Installation Safety Case Regulations of 1992, which forced operators to prove their safety systems were effective before a single barrel of oil could be pumped. Today, the legacy of the 167 men lost on Piper Alpha is found in the modern concept of barrier management. We have replaced paper permits with electronic processes and real-time data tracking. Yet the lesson of 1988 remains more than just a technical one. Piper Alpha proved that in high-risk engineering, a disaster is rarely the result of one person's malice or incompetence. Instead, it is a deadly sequence of events created when isolated, seemingly reasonable decisions, like laying a rubber mat for comfort or postponing a routine service, line up to bypass every layer of protection. The disaster serves as a stark reminder. The most dangerous failure in any socio-technical system is not a broken valve or a hand-tightened bolt. It is the quiet assumption that the system is working simply because it hasn't failed yet. As we continue to push the boundaries of what is possible in extreme environments, the real challenge is not just perfecting the machine, but better protecting the lives of the people who operate within them